And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Happy 2023. Happy New Year to everybody out there. It is the first show out of the gates here, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. It's the drink of holiday choice, bangtail.com, and of course out there at easyliquor.com, and soon to be in stores in Texas. I talked to my good friend Brandon Bang, who's been with me now for 3 years at Bangtail Whiskey. Check it out, and definitely you will not regret that beverage out there too. Official sponsor of CRS 2023, and our good friends we picked up today. As of that, it's Honky Tonk Texas Bar and Grill and Country Dance Hall down here in Silsbee, Texas. Check them out at honkytonktexas.us out there for their full lineup of concerts they're going to bring out there for their spring concert series for the first quarter of this year. And I tell you what, all that out of the way now, pleased to welcome in my first show and my guest out of the year. She needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway because she's awesome. And she's been recognized as Texas's one of the best female vocalists out there, Bri Bagwell on the Backstage Pass. Bri, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I am home, so I'm kind of, sweatpants, and I got my dog, and the laundry's going, so normal things over here.
Yeah. It's good to be home, and I was taking about 15 or 20 days off for the holidays, so again, it's been fun, and I go back to the day job next week, but it's good to connect and talk about this. First of all, how were the Christmas holidays for you? Good to take some time off. You mentioned spending some time in New Mexico, and tell me about that and kind of with the family.
Yeah, I went home for almost 2 weeks, which was great, and it's just a lot of Mexican food every single meal. Like my mom cooks makes tamales for breakfast. It's like, what, Mom? 3 meals a day. But it was just really wonderful. And like you said, I took a lot of time off, which was great, but I'm playing tomorrow at Dusty Doe, and I'm like, I wonder if I remember the words and the chords, and surely it'll come right back to me, right? Because I didn't practice or play at all.
I can, well, that's part of taking the time off. I didn't do much traction on anything, just kind of laid low. And she's like, run to HEB and get this, run to so-and-so, get this, run to whatever and get this. And I went, okay, honey, whatever you need to do, that honey-do list, and then took care of my little girl. So kind of, you want to work in the background, and you're like trying to check your email, and you're going, oh no, honey, I'm not working. I'm just kind of like looking at things and looking at other like sports stuff on the internet. So it's all fun and games when it comes out there. Hey, tell me about the new year. Everybody's got a clean slate. Everybody's new ambitions, new resolutions, what have you, and they're looking forward to kind of the uncertainty. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Like I said, 365. It's a whole new book. You got a whole new chapter to write. Tell me about what you're most excited about for 2023 in the Bri Bagwell camp.
Well, I released a record last year, and that was a lot. I forgot how much work it was to release a full-length record. I hadn't done it in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of going to still record here and there. It's not going to be like, my biggest priority. So what's actually crazy is the thing I'm most excited about is we're building a house.
Ooh.
And it's a smaller house and an Airbnb, and we're building it like right around the corner. We bought some property here in New Braunfels, Texas, and so I'm most excited about that. I've never owned like a piece of dirt. Like I own a dirt now, and we're building a house, and so that's going to be the most exciting thing for me.
Congratulations on there. Everybody loves to take that step in it. And it's a lot of work on a piece of property, but when you put your stamp on it, that's good equity to build up. And like I said, it gives good resale value for the rest of your time in it. And like I said, when you guys go to ever sell it, but congratulations on that. That's a huge milestone.
Thank you.
Hey, tell me about the record, Corazon y Cabeza, which I thought was fantastic. Hope I pronounced it correctly there, but it was
good job.
Well, I'm working on my Spanish. The wife is Hispanic, so I'm always trying to get to her parents that the Y means kind of E cabeza and that kind of thing. So corazon, all that good stuff. So I'm trying to work on my Spanish too. But such fantastic work. You got to work with a great team on that too as well, which was fantastic. Free Man was one of my favorite songs off of there that you guys had put on there. Tell me about you mentioned the work that went into it, putting out a full length album. But tell me some of your favorite songs to kind of step in the studio and put your own kind of touch on.
Wow. Well, it is really crazy because the ones that you don't think are going to end up being your favorites kind of came out as my favorites. Free Man, I didn't expect to be one of my favorites, and it was one of mine too. Is Rockin'. I wrote that in jury duty last year. And I also really love Trenches was another one that I wouldn't have picked to be a favorite. And we just released that one to radio. It just hit like 160,000 streams yesterday. Wow. The most streamed song off the record, which is crazy. It's just a very personal song, so I didn't think other people would relate to it, but that's like couldn't be further from the truth. It was a very COVID-y type song, and I think everyone latched on. And I also love one called Old Together, the last song on the record. Those are probably my 3 favorites.
I love it too. And you actually put one on there. Speaking of the new year, you put it on there. It was a track toward the end of the record called Happy New Year, which was there. And I loved, like you mentioned, Old Together, which was down there too. Tell me about that one too, because that's one right now that if people go back and listen to that record, we can definitely understand that now, the meaning of that song with 2023.
Yeah. Happy New Year is actually my producer's favorite song on the record. I didn't know that. She just told me that when I posted about it the other day. But Happy New Year is just kind of like, we put a lot of pressure, I think I do at least, with like New Year and New Year, New You. And it's just kind of a lot to put on yourself. Like, I got to change everything. And it's a lot of pressure. So that song's kind of about like, trying not to maybe change your whole life with like one night, because then you maybe have a breakdown at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or like on January 3rd, you're like, this isn't going as I planned.
The unplanned becomes, I guess, the what takes place over the mind, no doubt. Tell me about another one on there too for the album. I loved Cowboy Cold. Tell me about that one.
Cool. That was just a song idea that we came up with in the van. My old tour manager, Rachel, and I were just kind of talking about it. And I thought it would be really neat to write a song with that title. I thought of Cowboy Cold, like the beer. And then I thought of Cowboy Cold, like a man being cold. And so I thought, how can I make those two go together? And it sounds like maybe a simple idea, but making the beer colder and the man warmer was like a pretty complex idea. And I think finally I got it right, but that one took me a couple years to get right.
To get that one right too. Hey, you work with so many great Texas artists out there in collaborations. One of my friends and good friend of the show, and love Sarah Hobbs. You guys have formed a great friendship over the years too. No doubt, she's one of my favorite Texas artists to go out there and watch live. Tell me about just working with such a great talent in Sarah, and then the collaboration with some of these amazing Texas artists that are killing it on the charts now.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah and I have always kind of like known each other. And then in the recent years, we've gotten really, really close. And then she moved to New Braunfels where I live. And I always joke like she was trying to kill my liver. But I love her so much. And we've become, best buds. And I've been talking to her actually all day. She's just a really great person. She's so talented as an artist, but like as a human, she's just really, really genuinely kind. And so, yeah, her and I just wrote a song with our friend Helene Cronin called Roof Over My Head, and she just released that to radio. So that's brand new, hot off the presses. I think it comes out publicly like next week.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah. Give me an exclusive there here on the Backstage Pass. Let me ask you about that, because y'all did one that featured Sarah on the record, which was Red or Green. Came out last November, I believe it was, right there, right around Christmas and the holidays. Whiskey Christmas was the title of that track, and you guys did a great job on the EP. Tell me about that collaboration, because that really brought out both of your great vocals in that song.
Thank you. I wrote that song on an airplane, actually. And the Red or Green EP, I mean, you might know this, and some people just don't know that if you ask for red and green enchiladas or whatever, if you ask for kinds of chilies, that's called Christmas. And so that's why I named the record that. But I got a song with Sarah Hobbs on there, two songs with Paul Eason on there, I believe. And then one with my cousin Kip Callahan, and then one by myself. So it was kind of just like a collection of songs that I've recorded for Christmas, plus some new stuff. And we just decided to put it out as an EP. And I'm glad we did. It got added to a bunch of playlists, and all that's really important now. I don't understand it all, but it's apparently important now. So it was good we did that.
No doubt too. And I'll tell you, it's a fantastic record if you guys are looking for still some of that holiday music. Some people like me, they're still on vacation for the next few days and go back next week or what have you. And definitely just give music to kind of pick up out there across all those digital platforms. We'll take a quick time out, get a word in for our sponsors. Of course, Countdown to CRS 2023 is on. We'll be there covering it at the Omni Hotel, March 13th to 15th, 2023. Looking forward to that. Thanks to our folks at Aristo for having us once again out there too, and interviewing Nashville's best and brightest, probably some Texas artists too. You never know who you're going to bump into at CRS 2023, presented by our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas out of Silsbee. Check out their website, honkytonktexas.us, for their full lineup and concert series. And our friends over here at Bangtail Whiskey is the official drink of the Backstage Pass. It should be the official drink of you out there. Here's a little bit of how it's made. Coming back more with Bri Bagwell. It is the Backstage Pass. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, back here on the show, there's the Backstage Pass presented by our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas and, of course, at Bangtail Whiskey. Appreciate all the support out there and more sponsors coming here in 2023 as we continue to grow the brand here, no doubt. Hey, I want to go back to an album you guys put out. I'm going back to some, I say old school of Bri Bagwell, not old school for me, but 2018, as long as I've been following your music. In My Defense was a great record. You work with a lot of great people on that one, too, a lot of great camps, too, as well. If You Were a Cowboy, that was one that really, to me, radio, I loved it. Loved it so much about the message and what you guys sent out there. Tell me a little bit of kind of backstory of If You Were a Cowboy.
Yeah, well, my producer, Rachel Lloyd, that was the first record we worked on together. So we just did our second one. But she kind of came to me and she was like, hey, I have this song. I don't know if you're going to like it. And da-da-da. She was real kind of just careful about how, a lot of times people are like, I have this song. It's perfect for you. And you're like, that's nothing like me. But this, she came to me with If You Were a Cowboy. She was one of the writers on that song. So it's the only song on the record that I didn't write. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, I have to record that song. Like I just knew. And it's real, kind of an anthem-y type song, which aren't, for me, the easiest to write. So it was just a good fit for the record. And it's done really well. We did a music video for it. I went to New Mexico and tried to ride some horses and stuff. So it's a fun video.
It is, no doubt. Now, every great record has to have a great country cheating song, drinking song, whatever it is. And you did that with off that record, In My Defense, which was a great title for it, Cheat on Me. So every great country record has to have that. Tell me about that one too, and kind of the making of that one too. Was that a personal side of Bri Bagwell?
Yeah, that's unfortunately, I was like praying that my boyfriend at the time would cheat on me, which is not a really great prayer. I don't think that's how God works. So, but they gave me that song idea, and then I took it to my friend Courtney Patton, and it was actually the first time Courtney and I had ever met. So that was probably 2017, and I said, I have this song idea, and she immediately sat down and we wrote the song together. So that was really neat because her and I are good friends too now, but we got to collaborate on that.
I love that one too, no doubt. So every good record has to have a good country song just like that. And I love how y'all let it off too, because a different flavor, which was really good to set the tone for that record, was, I believe it was Asphalt and Concrete. And that was one that kind of set it right into If You Were a Cowboy. Tell us a little bit about that one. Was that kind of like the choice to set the tone for that record?
Yeah, that's another one that I didn't expect to love so much. That song's about moving to Austin when I was 18 from New Mexico, and I didn't know one single person, and it was just kind of like overstimulation. It was crazy. So I wrote that song, 10 years later, it finally came out. And then, it was like, In My Defense, I was left unsupervised, and that kind of was the theme for the whole record. In my defense, this is why I am the way that I am. And it's like 10 songs explaining that. And so yeah, it set the tone for the record, and we still play that one live. I think that was a number one too.
Mm-hmm. That's the cool thing, is you've had so many great recognitions out there, so many great awards, so many different publications out there to give you the utmost respect you deserve. Tell me about just the publications, the media, the people like us that reach out and just continue to promote it and follow your music and definitely play, what we can here on these shows. And then also the Texas Regional Radio Music Awards that's out there too. You've been nominated for the, female vocalist and all these different things you win. It pretty much, I guess it just justifies what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah, I love that. Awards and stuff doesn't change your life overnight or anything, but for me, it's such a hard life. It's really like a lot of sacrifices, and like you said, it's go. We tour throughout the whole year. We don't really ever take breaks. This is probably the only break I'll get until next December, maybe, if I even get it. So the awards and stuff really just are like a little fuel in your tank or something. They're just kind of like a high five or a big hug, and you're like, yeah, all right, I think I'm doing the right thing. Because art is so hard, and you just really never know. I write songs now, and I'm like, I don't know if that's good anymore. I just I've been so immersed in it for so long that I don't really get excited about too much because I'm just not sure. Music, it's just such a hard business. So those little things just kind of like give you that push to keep going.
No doubt. I love your pal there. You were talking about before the show, Whiskey, the beautiful pal there. Tell me about this guy here, because he's a cutie, no doubt.
Thanks. Well, yeah, if you can believe, I never thought I could have a dog because I travel constantly. And then I found her in the middle of the road,
Oh,
southeast of Austin,
wow.
and chased her down, and she had heartworms and she was real
Mm-hmm.
skinny. And now she likes, this is where she likes to be. I'm her person. And she's mine. She's my therapy dog, and I'm her therapy human.
She looks pretty comfortable there, no doubt, too, which
Yeah.
is a great thing out there. I always love friends stopping by the show. We've had birds fly in the background and all types of critters, snakes on here and some other stuff. So it's been, you never know what somebody's going to bring to the show. It's been pretty. They've had their own pets and stuff like that, too, and cats and all type of animals come on here. So it's the more the merrier, I always say, too. Y'all put out a fantastic one, even in my defense, which really I thought was a fantastic song out there. As Soon as You, tell us a little bit about kind of how that one just came to life. And I thought it was one of your most listened to on that album too. I forget the numbers on it, but it did real well.
Yeah, we put that out as a single. Actually, I had like a little independent record label at the time, and they put that song out nationally, which I've never done before. So that was really interesting. And then we filmed a music video during COVID, which was also interesting because it was like in the heart of COVID where no stores were open or anything. So I actually ordered a wedding dress off of Amazon for $99, and we filmed the whole video in somebody's house, and everyone was in masks, and I jumped in a pool in a wedding dress. And so it's kind of just a song about like being patient maybe and trying to find the right one that lets you be yourself. I mean, for me, it's really hard. I'm in a bar every night, so finding someone to like date hadn't been really easy up at that point.
I love that you've done. We mentioned the collaborations with some of the great artists. I got to ask you about one of my buddies on here too, because his daughter came on last fall, and we had a great show with her, and I loved watching her run on American Idol. I'm referring to as Lacey K. Booth, and I'm referring to Jody Booth, no doubt. And you've been featured on when his album or several songs that he's done. When You Hurt Somebody, I know was a collaboration, a single you guys had put out. What's it like to work with? I know Jody's definitely damn sure paid his dues in this business. He knows the business very well inside and out. I met him at the Houston Rodeo a couple of years ago before COVID had kind of kicked in and suspended everything. What was it like to work with Jody on that project, and just the person he is? I love the guy.
Yeah, he's one of my best buds. Love him so much. And we wrote that song, When You Hurt Somebody, together. And I went to his house to write it. And I was like, just a little nervous. Like we'd known each other for 10 years or whatever, but we had never written together. So I put 2 little fireball shots in my purse just in case, whatever. And then he came up to me about halfway through the write and had 2 little fireball shots. Mm-hmm. And I took them we took it. And then after a while I was like, hey, like we're cool and everything, but don't go digging through my purse. And he's like, what are you talking about? So he had also bought 2 little fireball shots himself. So those were his, but I thought for the first like few hours that he'd like rummage through my purse. But then we were immediately like, we both brought fireball shots to this right, like we're going to be best friends. And we worked after that. And we actually, before COVID, we had like a little 90s country project together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, one of your other collaborations I loved a lot too, and I love bringing this up, especially when you get to meet so much great talent out there, so many great artists. I believe it was Paul Eason. You guys had got together for After the Fire Is Gone, if I remember that one. And I'm trying to remember the year. I think it was last year, actually. It was last year. I remember that one. Beautiful album cover. Your kind of hands on his draped on his shoulders. And that's how we do our homework on the show. We know what the photo looks like. The guitar's right there too. Beautiful background. Tell us about Paul Eason and working with him and putting out just one of the legendary songs, After the Fire's Gone.
Yeah, well, Paul and I were in Nashville, and our friend Brennan Lee was playing, and she played that song, and I was singing along, and he was like, see the wheels turning, and he's like, we should record this. So that song was actually kind of a product of COVID because we have a home studio here, and so we recorded that during COVID, and then it came out. It was supposed to come out before my record came out, but we just didn't get it mastered in time. So we actually had it scheduled it was crazy because it came out like kind of right after Loretta Lynn passed. crazy timing, but just a really great duet. And now we keep talking about like doing more. Do we need to do a duet EP or do we need to do another one? And yeah, it was really fun. And then that photo shoot was in Nashville, and he hopped in there for a few. And I like to do all my photos one time. So I'm going back in February. I'll do like one whole day of photo shoots, and then I don't have to do them anymore because they're hard.
Yeah, that's a lot hard to say. Those, they don't know where they're gonna. They may have an idea of what the photo shoot's gonna look like, but yeah, you're right. It's like recording a song. You want to get in there, do a take or something like that, and do your thing, or take those photo shoots are difficult. A lot of artists have told me here on the
hair
program.
and makeup and jewelry, outfits, and like throw on a baseball hat and be done.
Yeah, which is good. I'm like you. I love wearing my cap and my t-shirts, and I tell you, this weather's been pretty cool here for Texas. Back and forth, and cold front this and freeze that, and back to 75 degrees today here in Texas. I love it so much, and I wish this was like we could scratch winter and just have 75 year round, like Joe Nichols told me a while back. Sunny and 75. We used to love that country song. Love that one too. Hey, I got to get into a little rapid fire here with you. Anything that you got to watch over the holidays? It was kind of a Christmas tradition. I know for me, it was like Christmas with the Cranks and Home Alone, things like that. What did you get into?
Wow, I watched Christmas with the Cranks too.
Okay, all right.
I also not too. I love that one. I'm trying to think if we watch anything in particular. My brother has a tradition of, he has like the whole his whole front yard has the Christmas lights with the music coordinating, and the big talking trees, and it's a whole show. So I guess that's our tradition. This year it was like 38 minutes long. So we set up chairs and had our, hot chocolate or adult beverage of choice and watched my brother's light show. That's now our tradition.
Yeah, put up the tree, enjoyed that with the kid, and then of course all the family stuff, and then I think Christmas Story had come on too, which was cool. We saw there was a remake of several things. Oh, the Santa Claus series. It was on Disney Plus out there. They'd done the movies and they transferred them over and kind of kept it very similar to the movies, but bringing back Tim Allen and some of the original cast from the Santa Claus movies. I caught that. There was a new, I think, version of A Christmas Story that was out there. So many things have been reinvented, and that tells me that the old school stuff never dies when you get to have like the great country songs of the 90s that still stick around today, and then of course the movies that they're continuing to remake out there, like the Santa Claus. So it's always fun to get together and do that with family and friends. You mentioned the enchiladas. I know for me it was like I got into menudo for the first time, being kind of like the Hispanic thing. So my wife made it for the first time with my sister-in-law. And is that a dish that you tried it? Do you like it?
I've tried it. We are more of a pozole family. So this year, Christmas Eve, I think we did 2 different kinds of pozole and New Year's Day. And we try which one's better. But we love pozole. And then on Christmas Day, we do steak and crab legs. We're not.
Oh, wow.
So we're more like pozole and steak.
Which is good, no doubt. It's good to mix it up every once in a while and try something a little bit different too. When it comes to beverages, what did you guys get into? I know, I guess beverages and the other classic holiday thing is desserts. So I know mine was like the empanadas were around the table, any kind of cookie you could want, and of course we had the hot chocolate and whatever I guess we wanted to spike it with at the time, depending on what it was around there to help the throat, because I've been dealing with some congestion around the holidays because Mountain Cedar was high up in the New Braunfels, San Antonio area just as last week when I was there. So I had to spike it. It's terrible.
Yes. Yeah. I had a whole like Christmas Elmo moment going for the last like nasal allergy spray at HEB. Like when one lady, I saw her looking and she saw me looking, and we had like a full on. We found some more. It wasn't that bad, but that it's no joke. And it's really kind of like the only thing I can't sing through. I have it really bad is Paul. So we have this nose spray that we have found that it's like, well, Paul found it, but now I'm on the train, so I can send it to you. It works. It's the only.
Yeah, send it to me. Like I said, just send me that so I can get because I really had it really bad. I got to the doctor yesterday and he's like, "Yep, take the prednisone, take care of this, get the inhaler." I'm like, "Oh man, this is just it's too much." And I know it was environmental conditions. I know that. Yeah,
totally. And I realized I did not answer the question, but we had a lot of eggnog and they have it in bottles, like handles kind of now. Delicious. We had wine. I really am not sure what we didn't have. We had, we
You
had
had it all. You had the whole spread out there too.
yeah.
Hey, this may take some thought. It may not. Do you remember? We always love to pull this one out of the bag every now and then. Do you remember the title of the first song we ever wrote, or if not the title, what was the song about?
Oh yeah, I had a song called "My Most Perfect Night" when I was 13. I wrote it, and it was
Mhm.
like pretty fictional and just really dreamy and really teenagey. And I hope nobody ever hears it. Not very,
We'll put that one. We'll mark it off the
yeah.
Christmas list or the shopping list out there for digital platforms, no doubt. Well, I tell you what, Red or Green is out there across all the digital platforms for you guys for your listening pleasure. The EP, love it so much. Collaboration with Sarah Hobbs and a lot of great people in Texas country. A Whiskey Christmas, Cowboy Christmas Eve, and a whole lot of good tracks on there. Happy holidays. We're still in that, and definitely. Best of luck with you guys as you get ready for Dosey Do tomorrow night. And Bri, always a great friend of the program. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for spending some time with us. Happy New Year. And we look forward to doing this again.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, and y'all are awesome. Good to talk to you.
Always great to catch up. Our good friend Bri Bagwell, BriBagwell.com. And of course, Red or Green is out there across all the digital platforms. We'll see you guys today about 4 o'clock. Nashville recording artist Jordan Rowe going to stop by. We'll talk about a great song he's got out hitting some charts there. Coming up here in just a couple hours. And the countdown for CRS is on 2023, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, EasyLiquor.com, and Bangtail.com. And, of course, our friends at Honky Tonk Texas in Silsbee, Texas. Down here, check out their full calendar concert series at honkytonktexas.us. We'll see you guys about 4 o'clock with Jordan Rowe. From all of us here at the Backstage Pass, happy holidays, and we'll see you soon. Take care.